whether I am right in my conjecture," said Stepan Arkadyevitch, looking at Levin with a sly smile. "Well, what have you to tell me?" asked Levin, with a trembling voice and feeling all the muscles of his face quiver. "How do you look at this?" Stepan Arkadyevitch slowly drank his glass of Chablis while he looked steadily at Levin. "I?" said Stepan Arkadyevitch. "There's nothing that I should like so much. Nothing. It is the best thing that could possibly be." "But aren't you mistaken? Do you know what we were talking about?" murmured Levin, with his eyes fixed on his companion. "Do you believe that it is possible?" "I think it is possible. Why shouldn't it be?" "No. Do you really think that it is possible? No. Tell me what you really think. If she should refuse me, and I am almost certain that—" "Why should you be?" asked Stepan Arkadyevitch, smiling at this emotion. "It is my intuition. It would be terrible for me and for her." "Oh, in any case, I can't see that it would be very terrible for her. A young lady is always flattered to be asked in marriage." "Young girls in general, perhaps, but not she." Stepan Arkadyevitch smiled. He perfectly understood Levin's feeling, knew that for him all the young girls in the universe were divided into two categories. In the one, all the young girls in existence except her, and these girls had all the faults common to humanity, in other words, ordinary girls. In the other, she alone, without any faults, and placed above the rest of humanity. "Hold on, take some gravy," said he, stopping Levin's hand, who was pushing away the gravy. Levin took the gravy in all humility, but he did not give Oblonsky a chance to eat. "No, just wait, wait," said he. "You understand that this is for me a question of life and death. I have never spoken to anyone else about it, and I cannot speak to anyone else but you. I know that we are very different from each other, have different tastes, views, everything. But I know also that you love me, and that you understand me, and that's the reason I am so fond of you. Now, for God's sake, be perfectly sincere with me." "I will tell you what I think," said Stepan Arkadyevitch, smiling. "But I will tell you more. My wife, a most extraordinary woman," and Stepan Arkadyevitch sighed as he remembered his relations with his wife. Then after a moment's silence he proceeded. "She has a gift of second sight, and sees through people. But that is nothing. She knows what is going to happen, especially when there is a question of marriage. Thus she predicted that Brenton would marry Shakovskaya. No one would believe it, and yet it came to pass. Well, my wife is on your side." "What do you mean?" "I mean that she likes you. She says that Kitty will be your wife." As he heard these words Levin's face suddenly lighted up with a smile which was near to tears of emotion. "She said that?" he cried. "I always said that your wife was charming. But enough of this sort of talk," he added, and rose from the table. "Good, but sit a little while longer." But Levin could not sit down. He strode 2 or 3 times up and down the little square room, winking his eyes to hide the tears, and then he sat down again at the table. "Understand me," he said. "This is not love. I have been in love, but this is not the same thing. This is more than a sentiment. It is an inward power that controls me. You see, I went away because I had made up my mind that such happiness could not exist, that such good fortune could not be on earth. But after a struggle with myself, I find that I cannot live without this. This question must be decided." "But why did you go away?" "Ah, wait. So many things to think about, so much to ask. Listen, you cannot imagine what your words have done for me. I am so happy that I have already grown detestable. I am forgetting everything. And yet this very day I heard that my brother Nikolai, he is here, and I had entirely forgotten him. It seems to me that he, too, ought to be happy. But this is like a fit of madness. But one thing seems terrible to me. You are married, you ought to know this feeling. It is terrible that when we are already getting old, with a past behind us, not of love but of wickedness, suddenly come into close relations with a pure and innocent being. This is disgusting, and so I cannot help feeling that I am unworthy." "Well, you have not much wickedness to answer for." "Ugh," said Levin, "and yet, as I look with disgust on my life, I tremble and curse and mourn bitterly. Yes, "But what can you do? The world is thus constituted," said Stepan Arkadyevitch. "There is only one consolation, and this is in the prayer that I have always loved: 'Pardon me not according to my deserts, but according to thy loving kindness.' Thus only she can forgive me." Chapter 11.